2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Okay. Let's see what we got. Hopefully you can hear my mic and you can hear the music. There I am. Sweet. Okay. Thanks everybody for chiming in and saying you can hear the music. How is everybody doing? Welcome. Let me go ahead and get this stopped. And hey, welcome to Monday Night Hoop Class. If you're joining me, I have taught a weekly hoop class forever. Oh, I did something to my microphone, so I'm hoping that it sounds better tonight. Let me know. If you've been watching the jams, what I try and do with the jams is put my microphone just under the music so that whatever I say isn't that disturbing. And then on class, I try to put it just above the music. So I'm hoping that you can hear it better. I've also realized, with looking back at recordings, that I was kind of peaking out some of the sound, meaning like if it was getting fuzzy in your headphones or on your speakers, that was really my problem. And so I have figured out or I've not figured it out, but I've decided to tone it down like a reasonable person. And so hopefully that won't be happening tonight. So pretty much the volume, whatever you have it set at, will pretty much be accurate. So the other thing is I want to mention about the donations. I really, really appreciate the donations. And if you have donated through PayPal, I might be an idiot, but I don't know an easy way to write everyone and say thank you, and I'm looking for one. If you know of one, let me know. But thank you to everyone. The Venmo people I usually can get around to, and I really, really appreciate it. And unfortunately, I'm getting a backlog on PayPal, but thank you for the donations. Well, it's what I'm living off of, So anyway, tonight's class is a class on Gooeyness, and if you're new to these Monday nights are more for intermediate to advanced people, but beginners should totally try to take them. And then my real beginner class, or just sort of foundational class, is Thursday at 7. We'll do one more jam. The next week, we'll just have an open music type jam. We did a hip hop one. We'll do one more at least. It looks like I am going to be running 2 classes a week for at least 5 more weeks. So, quarantine life, locked out. So, so we'll have at least that many more. Chime in if you're just getting here. Let me know you're here. Because of my software, I can't see who enters and leaves, so it's always nice to see who stopped by. So the class tonight is on a concept called Gooeyness, and this is a request. You're totally welcome to make a request. One of my longest running, most faithful students, Barbara, made a request, and I wanted to honor that request because I love it. And Gooeyness is more of like a style of hooping. It doesn't really apply to kind of everything, and it doesn't really have its own moves per se. There is one I'm going to show you tonight that comes from Gooey, but it is definitely a chill way to be. And so tonight's class is going to be chill. And if you were looking for the like bust-ass, kick-ass class, like as far as physical kick-ass class, that's probably not going to be here, but you might be surprised. But Gooey is kind of a more, to set it up, it's more of a sensual way. And involves a lot more touch and, gooeyness. And the gooeyness refers to kind of the look of it. So I'll probably try to show you some demos. We're going to start off with sway, and then we'll move into gooeyness. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right into it because I've been looking forward to this. And then, the other cool thing is that this is so old school for me because I just hooped this whole class, and now I get to redo it again. And that's exactly how I used to do classes back in the day. So thank you for being a part of all of this. If you have any questions, you can fire away. But we're going to start off with sway. Sway is free form. If you're here for the first time, it's free form movement. You can move any way that you'd like. And I just realized I don't need that. And I don't need that. Okay. Reno. Sweet. Beth. Hey, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for joining in. Thanks for saying, hey, Ottawa, you're all here. Thank you. I think we're going to have a great class. Remember, chill, okay? So anyway, here we go. And we're going to move into our first sway. And here we go. Gooey flow involves a beer, huh? Cheers to that. Hey, it's lockdown. Plus, I'm not rigid when it comes to performance enhancers. Audible breath in. Audible breath in. There are loads of wonderful ways to connect the mind and body. And one of my favorite, one of the simplest ways, is to breathe in with consciousness and breathe out with consciousness. That my mind is aware that I'm breathing in and it's aware that I'm breathing out. And that's it, and that's all. So I invite you to hear yourself breathe on every breath or every other breath, but to hear yourself breathe. So that you can become embodied, where there is no distance between your body and what it feels like to be in your body. Audible breath in. If you're new to this movement, it is completely free form, and it's the way you want to move. Open, open. I recommend doing it blindfolded. You're not checking in with your body, you're coming home to it. Every movement is like coming home, like opening old closed windows. Like opening doors so the house can breathe. Every breath in comes in through those windows. And you come home. Open. Open. Audible breath in. Audible breath in. If you've been breathing the whole time, good for you. Audible breath in. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, so I'm going to show you a little bit. This is what gooeyness kind of is. Oh, sorry for that. This isn't the best demo because I don't have music, but it's a slow way of coming in contact with the hoop, where sometimes the hoop is just enough in flight. What some people don't realize is that gooey as a style is really developed with kind of a heavy leg, light leg movement idea. And so I'm going to put some music back on. This will be one of our... Now, if you have socks, I do think this is easier with socks. But it's not required. But this is kind of like a basis to help get you started on it. So I'm without my hoop right now, but you could have yours, it doesn't matter. I'm going to keep one leg heavy and change the weight of the other leg and slide it forward or move it somewhere. Then make it heavy again. This leg gets light. It moves somewhere. And this is what me kind of doing it continuously. If I did it in the same triangle, I go heavy and then push. Now, in fairness to my barefoot hoopers, I tried this barefooted today. And what I noticed was that you'll just have to come a little bit higher, a little bit less pressure. And this is what I'd like you to try with me now. My one leg is heavy, and I can play with the heaviness of that leg. And then I trace the floor with my other foot, or I push it out, shift my weight. Good. Good. The more flight you bring to the hands while doing this, the more captivating it is for you. Probably for people watching, but for you. But this is the movement. Every time I have a heavy leg, and then I change the pressure. My studio audience is doing a beautiful job of this. This is a gooey trace of my foot. Let's make sure I can see me. But this is how that gooey looks like. Good. As always, you're open to start weaving in your own flow whenever possible. But to get the flow, we've done these before too. I can make one leg heavy and just swoop the other leg into night and let that turn me. I take one leg, I swoop it into night, it turns me. If you do like socks on your feet, basically the footwork is like skating across the basic footwork of gooeyness. And then there's a timing element to gooeyness, because a lot of times what will happen is you'll use gooeyness to slow things down. So to work on the timing of this, well, right now this would be a slow part of our goo because the music has stopped. But there's be big swooshes of movement into changes of pace. And you can make those changes of pace super noticeable by moving into super slow motion. Of course, I picked the worst part of the song to demo that part. Tracing, shifting my weight, heavy leg. And the heaviness is created because of your weight, right? It's a cool thing to think about, like pouring your weight into one leg so much that the other leg becomes light. Good. I hope that you guys are with me enough on that one still. So now we're going to pick up our hoops, and we're going to add some motion to that. What's that? We're going to use, well, whatever. I think you should use a big hoop. I'll tell you why later. But so what we're going to do to start things off with this is I'm going to hold, how did I have this working out? Oh, right, I gotcha. Okay. The hands, when it comes to, oh, right, I got it. The hands, when it comes to gooeyness, are sticky to the hoop, and not sticky like icing, but sticky like electricity, sticky like static, like a really smooth type static, like a magnetism more than like any friction that you're pushing against. And there's a technique that has been around forever, and it's called tracing. I believe it came into my life through my practice with spiral, but I'm not sure. And it's an obvious thing, so it could have come from anywhere, but I'm just I don't know who it came from. But tracing is when you hold the hoop in one hand, and then you just mimic it or move it around, trace with the other hand. There's samurai tracing, which would be like if I let one hand grip and the other hand kind of move freely, and kind of creates the isolation. That is the type of movement, that's the type of movement with the hands that we do to develop gooey hands. And again, there's no right and wrong. This is the style, but for those of you that haven't seen it before, I'm just trying to help give you the sort of all the obvious doors to find your flow with it. Now, we're going to constantly be building. We're going to be building on what we did the night before. So that footwork of heavy leg, I'm going to keep that concept with me, that my momentum in gooeyness is actually coming from the legs. And I'll keep mentioning that change of pace. Nice. I'm moving my feet, heavy leg, light leg. And then gripping or not, that doesn't matter so much. And then those changes of pace, I can go super slow. Good. In some ways, gooey is just an excuse and a reason to move slow and thoughtfully in your move. If you're familiar with point technique and gooeyness really go well when the other hand traces. And then just as you have a heavy foot and a light foot, you can have a heavy hand and a light hand. For instance, it might seem odd, but my heavy hand right now is my top hand because it's holding the hoop. My light hand is the other hand because it can just nuance I can roll it down and then make it the heavy hand. And then I keep the shifting the heavy to light in my feet. Nice, Tara. And then good. Tara's adding a lot of rolls to through the body into what she's doing, coming up through. My feet come back into play. There's that change of rhythm. My hands can be sticky. Not sure what to do with the hoop, you could completely do a beginner type isolation with it. Nice, just like Tara's doing over there, and completely feel what gooeyness is. And remember, it becomes obvious when you come out of a flurry and then you move into motion, slower motion. Feet, heavy leg, light leg, that creates the motion. If you find yourself without momentum and you want momentum, lighten one leg and move it. Good. I've already got a good sweat going. I hope you guys do too. It's a slower, but it's a very strength way of moving with the hoop. Nice, and it opens up a lot of awareness of the different weight, how you shift your weight from your two trees, one tree to the other. Okay. Oh, perfect. All right. So this next exercise, if you're just getting here, chime in, say what's up. Thanks everybody for doing this. This is cool. I wish you guys could see my studio audience. They're killing it. But we're going to move right along. Gooey folding. So let me show you something. If this was folding, and it is, I'm folding the hoop right now. And go ahead and do this with me. Hell, there's nobody around. Hopefully you have enough room to do this. And this is how I would could make it gooey. I would create that stickiness by bringing the hoop into me, by pulling the hoop into me. And you can even hold it with two hands. The gooeyness, that sensation of gooey, would be the second point of contact, like that smearing point as it rolls around you. This is gooey type folding, where I might fold the hoop out, like normally, maybe I keep everything. So this would be if I kept like super old school, really crisp samurai folding. This would be gooey folding. See how I'm kind of smearing it towards the core? That creates kind of a stick. You might have to push the water. Okay, here we go. Now this song will be a little bit more upbeat. Gooey doesn't always imply that it's super slow. There's a few people around. You can do it. Come on. All right, so we're going to practice gooey folding. And essentially, if you're still unsure what I'm talking about, I'm folding but keeping some point of contact on the core. Good. And that's where it's sort of the sensuality becomes a part of it. Like you're imagining this is someone you're dancing with, perhaps. I'm keeping my heavy leg, light leg with me. If you're a beginner, some of these movements, even though they seem simple, might be a little bit ahead of where you were at. I can use my body as a tracing point instead of just my arm. This is me using my leg, making it obvious. But if I was in flow, Gooey flow is my 4 a.m. festival flow. I used to do it a little bit more, but I still love getting back to it. Thank you, Barbara, for requesting this. Good. Changes the pace. Contact folding. Good. At this level of hooping, there's no right and wrong in your learning process. Once you're made it to this level, there's no right and wrong. There's better fits and worse fits for you, but there's no right or wrong way to do something. What's up, Lee? Sweet, thanks everybody for stopping in. Even if you can't make it the whole class, I definitely appreciate it. Okay, so where was I gonna go next? Oh, okay, so we're gonna talk a little bit. Actually, maybe I'll go ahead and press play on this in a second, but I am gonna talk about one technique. I said that Gooeyness doesn't really have a technique, but it does kind of have something that opened up, for me anyway, through being Gooey. Because Gooey really emphasizes all the points of contact. That's why I was suggesting using a big hoop. And one of the techniques that I use in Gooeyness is this, well, I just call it penny folding. I don't know, if there's another name in the hoop community, but it's basically like a penny roll. And I'm holding it here. My elbows are nice and high. And even if I'm in night, my elbows, let's see, I'll show you, my elbows are still high. And this creates kind of a carry with my arms. And then my other hands there, that gooey stickiness that's there, they push the hoop down and around. All right, I'll put the music on and I'll try to teach this. This is why I don't teach moves, because I don't want to lose my crowd here. But this is the movement. I'm here, and it's any type of push this way. There's no like right or wrong to it. But what most people are missing is that gooey footwork. And if you weren't here for the beginning, gooey footwork is kind of heavy leg, light leg. You're shifting your weight, kind of yin and yang. And this is the penny roll. I'm inside of the hoop. Good. Maybe on some Thursday we'll get more specifically into this, but the key point is that the pivot on a move like this is the arms being high and the footwork. And then this is why I love my 38-inch hoop, because where this move really gets going is when you start to feel it go across your thighs, and you can kind of soccer ball knee the hoop across the thighs or push it into your waist. So everything becomes a source of push. Again, if you stall, you're not sure what to do, lighten one leg, move it, make it heavy. you go super slow, you can develop 100 different ways to do this. Nice, Tara. This is me just being gooey with the hands, just putting some extra flight on them. Try to just flow for you guys a little bit while you learn this, and you can get a sense of how this might work. If you're new to this movement, this is how it, well, sometimes can look cool. Footwork, heavy leg, light leg, heavy leg. Nice, T. Trace with my hands, hang and trace. And I love the changes of pace and gooeyness where you're moving quick and it probably helps with this. Somebody asked if the hoop size matters. It probably is a little bit more fun with a bigger hoop. I've just never really had that much fun with small hoop, and I don't even know. I've hardly played with one ever, really. For me, it was weird enough getting one hoop through the airport. So I just wanted to find one size that could do most of everything. Plus, as I said on Morgan's podcast, I like the way it looks. You should find a size that you like the way it feels and the way it looks. And if you have any concern about anyone else's opinion as far as that goes, just disregard it. A wobble. Okay, calls them wobbles. Okay, that's good to know. Okay. Okay. So now we're going to put the hoop on the core. We're rolling through this kind of fast. We're going to have free hoop songs at the end, but not so much in between this time. But you'll be able to come back to it. So here's what we're going to try to do. We're going to try to play with core hooping with the neck and gooey. And gooey is really hard when you're core hooping, so I'm going to go and tell you. And what we're going to do is we're going to hold the hoop from the neck like this, let it hang, and then we're going to do some of those big swoopy steps until we get a little bit of momentum on the hoop. And then we're going to try, as best we can, to let the hoop move around our neck. But what gooeyness tends to do to the hoop, and that's why I wanted to do the penny roll first, is it tends to flatten the hoop out. And so you want to teach your body that that's okay. So this is what I want you to try to do. It's basically just neck hoop, but allow it to get slow. Now, if it starts to fall off, of course, use your hands. Don't deny them a chance to learn this as well. This is called neck hooping, but with goo on it. What's that? I'm making you laugh. No, you're not making me laugh. You're doing great. So here we go. These are stalls. Stalls, if you're, I used to get dizzy a lot. Hooping really helped me with that. So this is a stall. And then I can stop, let the hoop roll around, and then stall it again. This is kind of a gooey move. You see how I have one leg heavy? That's the one I'm spinning on. Of course, there's loads of ways to spin. But this is what I'm hoping that you'll experience at least a little bit of. Nice, Ann. Nice, Tara. Well, they're doing great. They're both really bending at the waist. This is gooey flow. But it's all, if you're having trouble with it, it's all the feet, or it's a lot of the feet. Like you're, of course, this is your hoop moment, so, you know, you can add a push or a paddle into it or whatever. At the end of class, we're going to talk about changing planes, but this is gooey kind of lifts. It's a gooey lift. If you really like turning, you can practice your stalls, because knowing your stalls in gooeyness really helps. This is a 12, it's a midnight stall. It's the hoops at rest on my night side, midnight. This is a 6 a.m. stall. The hoops at rest on my side of my neck. This is noon stall, midday stall. And this will be a 6 p.m. stall. These are all at the neck. And you can teach yourself how to do these at every point that you can core hoop. And then this is how they would come into gooey. See how I use it to stall? Or use the stall to get gooey? Stepping into night really helps with gooey. Good. Night side's the space behind you. Heavy leg. My shoulders keep wanting the hoop, but I'm gonna try to deny them right now. And then this is something that's cool to feel if you're starting to get dizzy. It's the hoop on my neck. It's not quite the penny roll we were doing before, but the hoop on my neck. And I can practice stepping out or stepping through the hoop. The hoop on my neck, right here. I can practice stepping through. What I like about gooeyness is it really opens you up to all the multi-points of contact, which really help. Okay, cool. All right, so now we're up here. We might as well go for it. Let's go ahead and talk about shoulders. So come back up to the neck. We'll talk a little bit about shoulders, because the reason I wanted to do the neck, we're going to add a little bit more momentum to it this time. If you're new to shoulder hooping, or if you haven't graced up at it yet, it's kind of hard to let go of freaking out your arms. But in gooeyness, what you do is you lighten the hands, and then you take big steps beyond the path of contact. I know that sounds weird, but imagine where the hoop is touching you, and take a bigger step. Reach further out than that. This song is by request of Anne. I like it. Shoulder hooping gooeyness is what we're working on right now. Nice, Tara. These are those stalls that I was just doing. This is my 6 a.m. This is midday. This is 6 p.m. That side point there. This is midnight. And this is that changing of pace. I can put the hoop to sleep and speed it up. And that's gooey. We'll just wait. This is gooey shoulders, and I'm taking big steps, big steps.
I can't touch it, baby. Seems like nothing ever really comes for free.
Thank you, everybody, for showing up. Hopefully you're having some success, or some of you might just love Gooey and just want an excuse to do it. These are those stalls I was doing again. And then this is that change of pace. You see how I can just... Like I said, this is 4 a.m. festival hooping. Thighs to push the hoop around, to 1-2 it or soccer ball it around. Nice. Sweet. Yeah, I use a warrior hoop. Thank you, guys. It's so cool that some of you know the answer to that stuff. Okay. So, oh yeah, good. We're doing pretty good here. So what I want to do, I know this class is kind of technique-y, but I'm just trying to show you all the different doors that you can take for some of this. And then we're going to have a free hoop. And maybe Tara, actually, Ann probably will swap out and show you some hooping. Really grateful for my studio audience here. It's so weird to teach to an empty laptop. Okay, so this is the exercise we're going to talk about, and this is paddling. This is paddling gooey paddles, and how they really show up that I like. So this is them, but because I'm using my feet and I'm not rolling the hoop around, then the paddle really becomes a stall. And if I'm not moving super fast, it flattens up. And that can suck if I don't want it to, but it can really be awesome if it is what I want. And so this is like how I can be going from super fast shoulder hooping to a gooey change of plans. See that? And so I come in with what would normally be a paddle, and this is what's so cool about gooey paddles. You go up, shifts the plane down. So I'm here. If I don't go up, right, then I just go out like a traditional paddle. These would be kind of like, sort of like the sort of most level gooey paddles that I could do, right? Remember, my hands have to be sticky if I'm doing it. But typically what it looks like for me is I push up, that flattens it immediately, right? So I'm here, the hoop's going around. I bring both hands up, push, night side contact, and the hoop goes flat. And then from here, then I got all these great gooey options. Nice, T. This would be the one-handed gooey paddle. You see how the moment I push up, I got it going into a nice little almost twirl. Right? So let's try those gooey paddles. I'll probably talk a little bit more about those. Loving the doors. Okay, sweet. Sweet. Thanks, guys. Always appreciate the feedback, guys. All right, cool. So we're here. Not sure how to get into gooey paddles. You can start with some kind of gooey core. You can move in my feet, heavy leg, light leg, whatever. And then I just push the hand in, and suddenly I've got the hoop carried there. And then that's when the fun happens. We don't have time to get into it tonight, but of course gooey head hooping is, amazing. But gooey tends to flatten the hoop. It doesn't have to, but it tends to. So these paddles I push up. Keep that footwork going. Remember, a paddle is when I push the hoop with my arm and create momentum or affect its momentum. That's a paddle. A break is when you stop its momentum. Any push is a paddle, so all lifts are essentially paddles. This is gooey happening again. Change of pace. Feeling it on the thighs. Sweet. I hope that this helps a little bit. Don't cry. Some of these longer comments I'll get to maybe during the free hoop. Gooey. But what I hope more than anything, especially for those of you watching on the replay, this is a footwork technique more than anything. Nice, T. Nice. If anyone does gooey and likes it and can offer something they like about it for the people that have never seen it or done it before, that's always appreciated. We are just about at the free hoop. I'm going to keep the music more or less in the same genre type flow so that you can practice some of these. I'm going to remain on the mic, but Ann is going to take over the hooping while I get some water. Thank you guys. This is a free hoop. You can work on the techniques this is a free hoop. You can work on the techniques we just did. You can do your own thing, whatever. Thank you so much for chiming in, everybody. Really appreciate it. This is a free hoop. You can hoop any way you like. Thank you so much, everybody. Thursday's beginner class will be on the legs. 7 o'clock. Nice, Ann. This is our free flow. Let me know if you have any questions. Ann and Tara have been in my isopod. I'm pretty lucky to have two hoopers. No, really three hoopers sharing the isopod with me. If you like this music, it's all on SoundCloud. I'll put the playlist up immediately afterwards. Big ups to everybody that's stopping in and saying hi, whatever part you're here for. I really appreciate it, man. I miss you guys. I'm really looking forward to being around other hoopers again, other flow artists, other dancers, other movers. But one thing I've learned through this whole thing is that the flow community is real. It's tangible. The flow community is real. There's a real community here of members who care about each other, who are pulling for each other, who create offerings for each other, who support those offerings. There's real community here in the flow world. Yeah, I'll do this one. Just gotta find, yeah. Thank you, everybody. We're gonna have 3 songs. I'll try to stay in the gooey mindset. I really like, balance into goo. Nice. Push up. It's nice and really open.
The winter of the words can't stay alive.
Right? Love it.
Streets of guns inside the hands of all your birds. And clearly so power than your words. Do you want me? Do you want me? Hear it all. I'm bound to notice when your back's against the wall. You stutter in your sleep. You're laughing while you weep. Will make us all regret the weekend. You wallow in the mud and revel in your blood. You're bringing down the worldwide standard.
Oh, damn.
Streets of guns inside the hands of all your birds. And tyranny is often power than your words. Do you want me? Do you want me? Hear it all. I'm bound to notice when your back's against the wall.
Gooey head hooping. You can do those same stalls I was doing before at the head. This is 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. The midnight stall. This is the first one you should try to learn. This is midnight stall. This is 6 a.m.
Focus on the capture and retrieval
Midday,
of everything you once knew to be yours.
6 p.m.
Stop and reassure yourself of evil. And struggle to believe you're at my door. Knock until
Sorry.
the planets close their eyelids. Wait until the nighttime stars arise. You can see your headspace is divided. And though you've got the tears, the attitude still comes as a
Thank you, everybody.
Want me? Do you want me here at all? I'm bound to notice when your back's against the wall. You call yourself a freak. I know it all looks bleak, but you surround me with the passion of the pure. You really can't decide. You multiply, divide, subtract, and add it back. You haven't moved it on.
Thank you, everybody. We're going to do one more free hoop. Go ahead and you can jump on in. I really like this one. Thank you, everybody. What's the trick to head hooping? Moving those feet, actually. I really think moving your feet, taking those big steps. You're going to want to try to learn it by not moving the feet, but start with the head stall. Sometimes, and definitely wear a hat. If you weren't there for the jam, that's the big secret. Until you learn it, give yourself a break and wear a headband, a scarf. I don't know, Sam. Sweet, Tony. Thank you, guys. I have seen the Joker. Sweet, Lee, I'm glad. Hey, Baruchka, thank you, guys. Sweet. Thank you, everybody. For the great comments. It's nice to read. I appreciate everything. So cool to have everybody here. Thank you, guys. If you ever want to see a replay, or if you miss a class, if it works better for you at a different time, all the classes are on YouTube, and they're uncensored for the most part. The Facebook version will have songs that are taken out. I I stream on Facebook for the exposure, and I stream on YouTube for the archiving. Thanks, Tanya. Nice. The studio audience is going off right now. If you ever share footage from class on social media, please tag me. I'd love to see it. If you're happy with it, I'd love to see it. Yeah. It's really a beautiful track. I really like this. You can find this playlist on my SoundCloud. Thank you to all the music makers out there, all the partners of music makers, the support staff, the parents of music makers. Thank you for supporting them. Without music makers, the hoop community just isn't what it is now. In fact, I can confidently say that there's been many DJs and producers that have inspired new hoop moves just by bringing their talent. Thank you guys so much for everything. There we are. Thank you guys so much for everything. I'll play one more as we fade to green here. But thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. And your donations mean everything. Oh, nope, that's not where I want to go. There we go.